Hi, welcome back. My name is Larry. If you're new, I'm here on my off-grid property in northern Arizona here called Ridge 88. I purchased this property about 6 months ago and spent a week here and there up here at the property, but only recently started living at the property about a month ago. I want to share the story of how I found and purchased Ridge 88, what it was like when I took possession of it, the lessons I've learned, how much I've invested so far, my estimated future costs, and I'll give you a tour which will include the perfect spot I found for the build side of my future cabin. Now, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, some of this stuff will be familiar, but I'm gonna go and share a lot of things with you that I haven't talked about on the channel before, which will include the plans for the cabin and how I messed up really bad. And it forced me to make part of this property a private campground. So let's get started. So about 5 years ago, I sold my house that was in town and closed my established construction company to become a full-time RVer and follow my dream to become a YouTube content creator. And my ultimate goal was always to find an off-grid property, leave the rat race, and build my own home. I just wasn't happy working all those hours and felt like there was more to life than spending every waking hour earning money in hopes that one day I'll be able to retire and finally be able to enjoy life. And that's where the name of the channel came from, Work Less, Enjoy Life More. After I finally became a full-time YouTuber, which took me about 3 years, I started my search for land. I found several potential places, but I don't know, they were either too expensive, too much work, or not in the ideal location. I wanted to achieve this goal by not taking out any loans, so I needed to find land that I could afford, but also, fell in love with. So I decided to look for properties that were 5 to 10 acre lots. Once I had the money saved up, I was just hyper-focused on finding the perfect piece of land. I found several potential parcels, and one even had an old house on it that I thought would have been perfect to, use the shell to remodel, but the road getting in was so bad that I just went ahead and passed on it. My friend Brian from the channel Off-Grid Backcountry Adventures told me about this land here that I'm standing on, and the second I walked onto it, I just fell in love. I loved its location, which was, far from towns and people, and it was very private, and I just love the shaggy bark juniper trees. I was able to purchase this land for $12,000, and since I wanted to take ownership as fast as possible, I skipped the land survey and the septic perc test, and I'd figure I'd just deal with that stuff later, which later you'll find out why I wish I would have done those two things instead of being in such a hurry. I ended up taking possession of the property approximately a month later, just before Christmas, and I was just so excited to get started working. All right, guys, well, this is it. Decided on the first property that I looked at a couple videos back, just the 7 acres of raw land. I'm excited. I'm going to just start fresh. I think that was the best decision, and the price was right. So we're here today. I've got a few other people you guys may recognize with me. We're going to go ahead and try to get a driveway kind of cut in before it gets dark. We only have about an hour before dark, so this is going to be hard to do, but we're going to try. You're going to have to take out a couple of little trees, and then if you look, there's already kind of a natural driveway, so we don't have a whole lot to cut. We're going to cut right through here, and then I want to make a turn in the drive so people can't just look directly into camp. We're going to go right through here, make a turn, and then you'll see there's kind of already a natural opening. It kind of goes around. I'm going to keep these trees, go around those trees, and just make this big circle the main camper right now, I think. Yeah. Good dog, Lex. Already just had to take down one tree and a couple branches. Already got most of the driveway in. Got the berm all knocked down. Just got to come up here and turn this corner. We're almost there already. It's only been about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, don't let him lie to you. My grandma always said, if you're gonna exaggerate, make sure it's known.
Right about the time we had the roads cut in, the rains just came, and I quickly learned how muddy it got up here. Oh man, we were so naive. Came in, morale was high, everything was exciting, just cutting in a new driveway into the new property. And yeah, morale has just tanked since. My boots right now weigh like 50 pounds. I'm kind of stuck in here until it dries up some. The road out here was completely impassable, and I quickly learned that if it rained or snowed, then I'm stuck up here. And if I'm in town or on a trip when it rains or snows, then I'm stuck down on the road or where the pavement's at, unable to come up here due to how bad the dirt road gets to get out here to the property. One time I decided to risk the drive up here while it was snowing and ended up having all sorts of issues. I got my truck and trailer stuck and I couldn't make it home. So we abandoned the trailer and attempted to drive the rest of the way in just the truck, but then we got the truck stuck. I'd like to cut in here just for a second and thank this video sponsor, Reolink, again. I have been using Reolink security cameras here at the property, and they've sent me the brand new Reolink Argus Magicam. What I like about this camera is that it's movable, which makes it perfect for somebody who RVs or travels. It has a magnetic back, so it allows me to snap this camera onto almost anything, and it's small enough to set almost anywhere. If I want to keep an eye on what's outside the camper door, I can just stick it right here on the leg of the camper, and it blends right in so I can see what's going on outside. If I want to keep an eye on the enclosed trailer, I can just snap it to the trailer. If I want to keep an eye on my truck, I can just snap it to my truck. Maybe you just want to see who keeps eating the cheese out of the refrigerator. Snap it inside the refrigerator. This would be perfect to snap anywhere you need protection, or if you just want to be able to check in on things like your fur kids or your fur grandkids playing in the backyard, possibly your front porch while you're waiting on a delivery. It uses 2 replaceable AA batteries that last you up to 9 months, or it can be plugged into a USB-A plug and keep it continuously powered indefinitely. It has a PIR motion sensor with AI smart person detection, so you don't get all those countless alerts every time a leaf blows across the yard. It has 2-way audio for real-time communication with its built-in microphone and speaker. Hey, what are you doing? It also has the ability to view live feeds using the app on your phone. You can also watch, replay, and download recordings with ease right from your phone as well. And the best part is you don't need a monthly subscription with this thing. So that keeps costs low and just one less thing to hassle with and pay for each month. There's no need for Wi-Fi or wires, so I can mount this thing out here on the property outside the range of the Wi-Fi network. And because it has an SD card inside that works with micro SD cards up to 256 gigs, I can store the clips locally right there on the device. I'm able to monitor and make adjustments to the camera on my cell phone via the app, which is easy to use and also easy to set up, which is very good because techie stuff gets me so worked up sometimes when I can't get it to work right. Anyways, the Reolink Magicam is a compact security that goes wherever you need it. It's security on the go. Get your Argus Magicam now for only $54, and you can get an extra 5% off by using my exclusive coupon code Work Less, Enjoy Life More, which is valid on all Reolink products until the end of the year. You can also use this QR code right here on the screen. We ended up having to walk the rest of the way up here to the property, and then I had to wait till really late that night after the temperatures dropped below freezing so I can go rescue the truck. I'm feeling like it's a very good possibility this might work out. The mud is not sticking to my shoes like it was earlier, so I think we're gonna get enough grip on the tires, I hope. All right, so here we are. The truck's here. Still appears to be in one piece. The door's frozen. Yes, that's what I need right now. Don't break, don't break. There it is. See what my floorboards look like. Hopefully this works. It's working better. I'm getting further than I was before. And it wasn't until the next morning when I was able to go rescue the trailer. After careful consideration, basically sitting there and thinking about it all night, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and just go get the trailer before the roads thaw out. I think that's going to be the best deal because It's going to start getting nicer over the next couple days, and that road is just going to get muddier and muddier. She is. I'm going to go ahead and get hooked up and then see if we can get this thing out of here. All right, all hooked up. The road is pretty rugged and rigid and frozen, so I think this is going to work, but we're not going to know until we know, so let's get moving. Oh, yeah. I think we got it. So since then, it's been vital for me to keep up with the weather and plan town runs accordingly, and to make sure I have plenty of food and water up here in case of a freak snowstorm or rainstorm. I also learned that there's pack rats up here, so it's been a consistent battle keeping them out of the camper and the vehicles. Unfortunately, the mini truck camper here behind me was left up here unattended for about a month, and it got infested pretty quickly. The world's smallest truck camper on a 1992 Geo Tracker. Looks pretty nice, huh? Big old 1.6 liter, but because of pack rats and mice, they love getting into engine compartments. So the theory is you leave the hood up and then it's not a dark, cozy place, so they don't want to hang out in there. It's been working great. There's nothing. Nothing. They haven't been hanging out in there at all. Inside, however, different story. Let me show you back here. These mice and pack rats have gotten in here, spilled their chocolate Tic Tacs everywhere. Look at all those, all over the place. Ruined all that camping gear. That's going to have to get burned or thrown away. They've been having a heyday in there. Yep. So yeah, that's cool. So probably one of the two biggest mistakes I made since owning this land was I thought when we cut the driveway in, we were right in the center of the property. Once we got it all done, I found out I was actually right on the property line. And I haven't shared this because it's sort of embarrassing. In fact, you can see right here, here's the hot tub, and right back here, there's a row of brush. That is the property line. So almost went over it. Luckily we didn't. But once I found out that I was so close to the property line, I was pretty disappointed because obviously I didn't want to buy land and set up right on the property line. I wanted privacy and wanted to be able to set up and right in the middle to kind of have a buffer around me. After a few days of being mad at myself and pretty defeated, I decided to turn this area into a private campground for my friends and start a whole new area for the main base camp, which I'll show you here shortly. So I'm standing here in front of what will hopefully be the septic field one day, kind of within these trees. A few of them are probably going to have to come down, but the second biggest mistake was that I did not do a perc test for septic, which a perc test is where they come and they dig a hole in the ground, fill it with water, and see how fast it drains, just kind of to see how fast the water will perk into the ground for your septic. But after talking to locals around here, there's a high probability I'll have to install an alternative or engineered septic, which is just a more expensive way to dig a septic if your land doesn't perk very well. My soil here is obviously rocky and it has a layer of caliche, so it's harder for the water to soak into the ground. And unfortunately, this type of septic, the engineered or alternative septic, is twice as much money as a standard septic. So if I need to get an engineered or alternative septic, then it sounds like I'll be out about $25,000, which wasn't in the original plan, but I have to install one in order to live here permanently. So the part that a lot of people are waiting for is how much I've spent so far here at the property. I obviously spent $12,000 on the land and about $3,500 for a tractor rental to be able to cut in the roads and make level places to camp. I had to buy a couple water totes, which was about $400 in total. So right now I'm sitting at about $15,900 invested into the property so far. Now, one big question I get a lot is what I do for power up here, since there's no power lines to be able to tie into. And since I was a full-time RVer before I started this property project, I already had my truck camper outfitted with a huge solar setup because I love camping off grid and rarely go to campgrounds with hookups. There's 2,860 watts of solar up on the roof of my truck camper, feeding the 12-volt Victron system inside, which charges the 1,200 amp hours of Big Beard batteries. So this allows me to run my air conditioning 24 hours a day, plus power everything else in my RV, plus power everything else up here on the property. I also have an enclosed trailer with a huge setup inside as well. I have a Blue Eddy Apex 300 power station with 2 expansion batteries totaling 9 kilowatts of power. And I also have the Solar X 4K charger. So this system is currently my backup system at the moment and will probably end up being installed into a powerhouse out here on the property with a solar field of panels charging it. And when all else fails, I have a Predator 3500 generator I purchased from Harbor Freight to charge up the systems if, let's say, it's been too cloudy to collect enough solar. As for expected costs, what I'm expecting to spend in the future to get this place ready to go, I still want to build a small cabin, which I'm estimating will cost about $40,000 if I build it myself. I still need a septic, which could be as much as $25,000. I still need a shipping container for storage of tools and supplies to keep things locked up and away from pack rats, which will be about $5,000 for a one-time shipped container, which a one-time shipped container is a container shipped one time, so it's almost like brand new. But you can find older ones for about half that cost, but I prefer to get a newer one, so I'm going to get one of those. I still need a lot of gravel, which I estimate will be about $20,000 for the bare minimum of 2 inches of gravel to cover the roads and parking areas. So with just the necessities, total cost expected in the future, including the land, will be about $106,000. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but the average homeowner pays, let's say, $3,200 a month for a mortgage and utilities. And that's about 2.5 years to equal the investment that I'll have here, but I don't need it all at once. And since I'm not financing anything, I'll own it outright. Plus I'll be on solar, so I'll never pay electric bill, and I can get these water totes filled up at the local well for as little as $2 per fill. My only other bill will be property tax, which is currently less than $100 a year. Now, this means I don't have to work a job 40, 50, 60 hours a week that I don't really like and spend 30 years living paycheck to paycheck trying to pay off an overpriced house. As of right now, moving forward, I can live like I'm semi-retired and I'm only in my early 40s. So for the tour, we're just going to start right here at the entrance. This is a very nice big wide entrance that I recently just widened up and developed in order to get a bigger truck in here, because not only do I plan on having RVs and my truck and truck camper and fifth wheel and stuff pulled through here, but I also need to be able to get a shipping container and building supplies and what else? Dump trucks for gravel. So I need to be able to get everything in here, and that's why I made this so wide, and so far I'm loving it. All this though, all the roads will eventually get graveled and they'll look a lot better, but considering what they look like when I first moved in, this already looks a lot better. So right here at the entrance, you can see I actually have a couple footers dug there and a couple footers dug on this side, because I want to be able to do an entry gate and then have like a privacy fence going off each side, not just a normal privacy fence. I have a really cool idea for all this, but be able to just kind of block from the road to where you couldn't see too far into the property. When you first come in past the gate, there's a big right turn here, a very wide open area, and this is just a big turnaround area for my RVs or trucks or whatever that comes in here, because most of the roads are pretty tight in here. This is kind of the only big open spot. Now right there is where the 40-foot fifth wheel is going to go. I think I'm going to put the shipping container right there in that hole, and then right there is a parking area just to be able to fit a couple vehicles to be able to have right next to where the fifth wheel is going to be right here. And you go up here to the left, and that's kind of the main base camp right here where I currently have my truck camper sitting. Now up here at the top where the truck camper is at, this is where I'm currently staying. I have a little seating area with a little fire pit, and then the dog area, some grills over here. Just a nice little place to hang out. Got cafe lights strung all around, and it's really cool right here, right in the evening time. This is the only spot that is typically lit up. There's cafe lights throughout this entire property, but I keep most of them shut off except for these, when I'm here. And the other ones I'll show you, they're kind of there for when people are camping in the campground. I can turn them on and it'll just light up that whole campground, so you don't have to have a flashlight to be able to walk around. Now right here is another big open parking area. Currently park my truck there and my enclosed trailer. This is the only outdoor storage I have. And that has my Starlink up on top. And then I have some solar panels right here just to keep that Apex 300 power station charged inside. And because we've been getting a lot of rain and it's been cloudy the last couple of days, I have that Predator generator right here with an extension cord running out to my camper. Now back over here, you can see, probably not, maybe, my clothesline. I have a couple clotheslines hung out up here in this open area because I actually have to hand wash my clothes in totes right now and then hang them up to dry. But I'm hoping down the road I'll have a washer and dryer. So we're back down here at the entrance where we turned right to go into the main base camp area. Now this goes a little bit further in and then makes a left and a big loop. And this is where the campground is going to be. So we'll go and check that out. You can see too in the trees all throughout the property, I have security cameras hidden in the trees. So that way I can keep an eye on what's going on around here, especially since I do like to travel. So I'll be gone for periods of time, and it's just nice to be able to see what's going on up here at the property. So we come in here, this is actually a big loop that kind of goes around. This was the original loop that I cut in thinking this was going to be the first or the main base camp. But like I said, this is now the campground. I have one spot here that recently got leveled out, developed. It still needs gravel and probably a picnic table, but it's a pretty nice little spot right there. Nice little tree. This goes up to the main hangout area, the community area. So you got the hot tub and the fire pit and a bench. There's even a little wood stove over there that powers the hot tub. There's cafe lights all throughout the trees over here. And this is just a cool place to hang out when everybody's here, mainly because it looks directly out that way, which right now it's a little hazy, you can't really see, but there's beautiful views of the San Francisco peaks and Flagstaff, a lot of snow covered mountains and stuff like that in the wintertime. Right now you can't really see it, but it's gorgeous. Now we go down here, you can see right here, this is the property line just behind the trees, which I got close. I'm glad I'm not any closer, but it's a little too close for what I wanted. That's the loop right there. But I figured once I turn this into like a campground, then I wasn't wasting the place. I wasn't wasting the space. I just could use it on occasion when friends are here, but it's not going to be where the cabin is at. So that way okay, the bugs right now. So that way, whenever I do build a cabin, it's going to be on the interior of the property, and there's not going to be a potential chance of somebody setting up right there on the other side of this fence. But even if they do, with it being a campground, it's not that big of a deal because it's not used that often. I do have a lot of friends that have campers, and there'll be times where we use it, but maybe a few times a year tops. So you can see right here, these are still in the rough stages. I haven't done much to them yet other than just level out the camping spot. But here's one spot. That's going to be where the fire pit is going to be right here. I'm going to have some cool camping stuff, maybe, like I said, picnic tables, maybe little wooden signs with the campsite names on them, things like that. Over here is another flat spot, and then the spot right next to that is where camp is going to be, fire pit ring, things like that. And then down here is the last spot. This is going to be for probably longer campers. You can pull in, nice big wide spot. And then off to the side here is a place to turn around. So that's pretty much it for the campground. Now, I do have a ton of plans for this campground. I want to build a bathhouse with a laundry room and an outside shower, and just each campsite I want to fix up really cool. I don't know, I have a ton of plans. But if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because YouTube has changed. Even though you're subscribed to the channel, they don't always show you the videos when they come out. So you have to hit that notification bell. Even if you're a current subscriber, if you could go back, hit that notification bell, because what happens is they're so focused on shorts right now. Long form content like this is sort of a thing of the past, apparently. So they don't prioritize us anymore, and it's just harder and harder for our videos to get shown up. But let me show you now this home site, the site that I want to build this cabin on. I'm excited. Hold on. This is the best part. So to give you an idea where we're going, this is where the fifth wheel is going to be. That's the storage unit or the shipping container. This is the little parking area. So we're going to walk up into here. So you can see there's these massive, massive boulders on the ground. So what I want to do is, from this parking area, I want to use these existing boulders sort of like footers. So what I want to be able to do is use the boulders to be able to span beams between them, and then build a walkway that goes up to a deck that goes right up there into those trees. And that's where we're going to be heading next. So the idea is, you get out of your car, you'll be able to walk up a ramp right here, go over these rocks. It'd be like an elevated walkway. And then I'll go up here where these rocks are at. And that is where I want to build the cabin. There are huge boulders all throughout here, all over the place. So I'll actually be able to use, hopefully, I'll have to get an engineer, I'm sure, to test this area out and check it all out. But I'm hoping to use the boulders as footers, or at least most of them like piers, and then have an elevated deck here with the cabin on there. I want to do like a 10 by 20 or 12 by 20 cabin, and I want to be able to have windows to look at these views, check these views out. So now where I'm standing right now will be kind of right in the middle of the cabin, and right over there is the San Francisco Peaks, the tallest point in Arizona, the snow-capped mountains I was talking about earlier. On a clear day in the winter, you can see the snow-capped mountains, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous. That'll be walking right out the front door, onto the deck, having coffee, looking at that in the morning. So where we're standing right now would be the other main windows looking out of the cabin off to the side. And that overlooks those amazing cliffs way over there. And when the sun goes down, those cliffs just turn like this golden color. This is probably the worst day to show you guys. But wow, I could get used to looking at that all day long. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. If you're curious, or if you're interested and it's been in your mind to go off grid, especially nowadays, do it. I would just do it. I love it. I'm so glad I did it. I wish I would have done it earlier. It's just such this weird, amazing feeling knowing that I got this land, I own it outright. I get to do whatever I want with it, to an extent within rules of the county, but I get to design it and make it the way I want it. And then once it's all done, it will be paid for, mine, and I can just live here forever, and I don't have to worry about it ever being taken away. It's just such a good feeling. But I appreciate you guys sticking it out this long. And until next time, I'll see you then. Oh, and don't forget, make sure to check out the links below for the security camera and for the Facebook group page. That's all down below in the description. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, bye.